Hi, I'm Joshua Newell, founder of Granted Pro Se Paralegal Services. If you're watching this video, chances are that you or someone you love is facing what feels like an impossible situation in the federal system. I get it because I've been exactly where you are. Over the past few years, I've helped hundreds of federal inmates and their families navigate one of the most powerful tools available for sentence reduction, and that's the compassionate release motion. Today, I'm going to break down everything you need to know about this process, what it is, who qualifies, how it works, and most importantly, how to avoid the critical mistakes that cause 90% of these motions to fail. Let's start with the basics. Under 18 U.S.C. 3582C1A, the federal judges have authority to reduce a sentence when there are extraordinary and compelling reasons, but only if that reduction aligns with the sentencing factors outlined in 18 U.S.C. 3553A. Here's what's changed everything. Before the First Step Act of 2018, only the Bureau of Prisons could initiate this process. Most of the time, they simply wouldn't. But now, inmates can file these motions directly with the court, and that's opened the door for thousands of people to fight for their freedom. But here's the thing, and this is critical. Just because you can file doesn't mean you should file without a plan. I've seen too many people rush into the process without understanding the requirements, and their cases get dismissed before a judge even considers the merits. We're going to make sure that that doesn't happen to you. Now, who actually qualifies? There's no simple checklist, but most successful motions fall into three main categories. The first category, medical conditions. This includes terminal illnesses, serious chronic conditions that significantly impact your life expectancy or quality of life, or age-related health decline. The key here isn't just having a medical condition, it's proving that your condition creates extraordinary and compelling circumstances that couldn't have been anticipated at sentencing. That's critical. The second main category is family circumstances. The most common example is when you're the only caregiver for a child, or a spouse, or a parent, and something happens that makes your continued incarceration create an extraordinary hardship. Maybe your spouse becomes ill or incapacitated, or your elderly parent needs full-time care that no one else can provide. Something like that will qualify in this manner. The third main category is other extraordinary circumstances, right? This is where it gets interesting. Courts have recognized things like significant changes in sentencing law that will result in a substantially lower sentence today, exceptional rehabilitation efforts, or unusual sentencing disparities compared to co-defendants. But here's what I learned from my own experience and from helping others. Documentation is everything. You can't just tell the court about your circumstances. You have to prove them with medical records, affidavits, official documents, and compelling evidence that paints a complete picture. Let's talk about the actual process, because this is where most people stumble. The law requires what's called administrative exhaustion, and if you skip this step, your motion is dead in the water. Step number one, you must request compassionate release from your facility's warden in writing. Be specific about your circumstances, include supporting documentation, and keep detailed records of everything you submit. Step number two, wait 30 days for a response. In most cases, you'll get a denial, and that's actually okay. What matters is that you follow the process. Step number three, keep copies of everything. Your request, any response you receive, and proof of when you submitted it. This documentation proves to the court that you exhausted your administrative remedies. Only after completing these steps can you file your motion with the federal court. And here's a pro tip from someone who's been through this. Use this 30-day waiting period wisely. This is your time to gather additional evidence, strengthen your argument, and prepare a motion that's impossible to ignore. I've reviewed hundreds of compassionate release motions over the years, and I keep seeing the same mistakes that doom cases from the start. Mistake number 1, skipping the exhaustion requirement. I cannot stress this enough. If you haven't properly exhausted your administrative remedies, the court would dismiss your motion without even looking at your circumstances. Mistake number 2, filing with weak or incomplete evidence. Saying you're sick isn't enough. Saying your family needs you isn't enough. You need medical records, doctor's reports, affidavits from family members, and documentation that tells a compelling story. Mistake number 3, ignoring the 3553A sentencing factors. Even if you prove extraordinary and compelling circumstances exist in your case, the court still has to consider public safety, deterrence, the nature of your offense, and your criminal history. Your motion needs to address these factors head on and show why your release serves the interest of justice. Mistake number 4, poor presentation. I've seen compelling cases fail because the motion was poorly written, disorganized, or didn't follow proper court formatting. Remember, you're asking a federal judge to exercise their discretion in your favor. Presentation matters. Look, I'm not going to sugarcoat this. Compassionate release motions are challenging. The courts don't grant them often, and the process requires careful preparation and attention to detail. But when done right, they can be life-changing. I've seen families reunited, people get the medical care they desperately need, and individuals get a second chance they never thought possible. If you or your loved one is considering filing a compassionate release motion, don't leave it a chance. At Granted Pro Se Paralegal Services, we've developed court-formatted templates and comprehensive guides based on real-world experience and proven strategies. Check out our custom motion templates designed specifically for your situation. Remember, your freedom is worth fighting for, and with the right approach, you can give yourself the best possible chance for success. I'm Joshua Newell, and I'll see you in the next video.